Hi, everybody. I'm talking with Sydney, and Sydney's going to fill in my blanks. What's your last name, Sydney, and what's your company?
Yeah, my name is Sydney Horvath. I am a realtor with the Matt O'Neill Group over in Mount Pleasant.
So Matt O'Neill was one of so I reached out to Sydney as I'm doing our locals guide, discovering communities. And Charleston was one of I chose Charleston with a little bit of intention when I was going out on the road back last year. I traveled around the country and explored different communities. And Charleston was one of my, like, I'm going to go to Charleston. I'm going to go to Charleston. And so I just recently was looking for people to interview, and I ran into Matt O'Neill. Now, it looks to me like that is a pretty big team or a pretty big company in Charleston, and of course, he's your boss or it's your company. So I'm sure you're going to tell me that it's the best real estate company in Charleston.
I mean, I am biased, but yeah, so we've got about 45-ish agents, and we've also got a wonderful team spanning across the world. Over in the Philippines, we've got a few inside sales agents from Costa Rica. And yeah, we've got a great team. Matt is an amazing teacher. I absolutely love working under him, and I'm sure not everyone can say that about their boss, but I am so glad that I can.
That's fantastic. All right. Well, and I'll make sure I package that up and send it to him when it comes time for your Christmas bonus. So tell me about how you ended up in Charleston, and then we can dig into what we love about it.
So, growing up in the Northeast, I have always wanted to move down south, and I feel like growing up there, it's always just kind of been so gray, and all the buildings are just so gray. It's so industrial,
Hmm.
and I knew that it wasn't the life that I wanted for myself. And over the past, I'd say maybe 8 years, I've been traveling down to South Carolina, whether that be in Charleston, whether that be Hilton Head, or kind of just anywhere in the South Carolina area. And I told myself pretty early on into my college days that I knew that I was going to move down. And thankfully, I have such a great support system that I was able to kind of take that leap and move my entire life down to Charleston. And I've honestly never looked back. I love it here. There's so much life, there's so much color. It's not everywhere where you just get to walk around and there's just so much vibrancy everywhere.
And this is about a year ago that you moved here from Cleveland?
Well, so I moved from the Pittsburgh area,
Okay, sorry.
and yeah, it's been within the past year I've moved.
So have you been welcomed by the Charlestonians, or do they see you as a carpetbagger coming in from the outside?
I would say pretty welcoming. Everyone here is just filled with so much kindness. Everyone always hears about that Southern hospitality, and it is real. Like, I have people who will just start a nice conversation in the middle of the street. I've got also meet people in coffee shops, and they'll just ask me about who I am, ask me about my life, and show genuine interest. And I feel like it's been pretty welcoming. I mean, the only time that I ever see people not is just when it comes up to the conversation of traffic, which, having not seen Charleston before it kind of hit this huge boom, I am unaware as to what traffic looked like before, and I've heard tons of things that you were able to easily get around without dealing with much traffic. But being from Pittsburgh, growing up in Cleveland, I did my college years in both Columbus, Ohio, and Chicago. I've always been used to traffic, so
Right.
to me, it was no more than any major city. But it's a growing city, and it's something that you kind of have to be aware of whenever you move down here. It's just that during rush hours or during peak season of the beach, you are going to hit some traffic.
Right.
But other than that, I feel like everyone's been super welcoming, very eager to share all their local favorites, all of their go-to spots on weekends to kind of avoid all the tourist traps or all the hecticness of the peak travel seasons.
So along those lines, help me understand Charleston. How is Charleston kind of organized? Like I think you and I were talking yesterday a little bit about Mount Pleasant, and I feel like there is a place called Daniel Island or something like that. And maybe
Daniel
is
Island is exactly where I'm calling you from.
oh, okay, super. And is there a place called I'm trying to get my cities not mixed up. Is there a place called Isle of Hope or something
Isle of
like that?
Palms.
Isle of Ponds.
Yeah,
And
Isle of Palms, yes.
then there's is we don't need to guess. So how about this? Take me around visually, take me around Charleston and tell me what are the different sort of communities that make up the outer portion of Charleston or the inner portion of Charleston. If somebody's living in Charleston, where are they choosing from to live?
Yeah, so starting with downtown, the peninsula, that's kind of essentially the heart of the low country, and that's where you'll find all the great foodie spots, all of the waterfront views, and where the history sort of all comes together. And it's so nice to see that every neighborhood really has its own personality and own charm, but it's just so full of character. You've got the French Quarter, you've got South Abroad, like I mentioned, you've got the Nomo area, so like the North Morrison area. It's just, there's so much character, and it's such a great walking city that I could spend 30, 45 minutes walking around and just never get bored of all of the sights to see there. Then moving over the Ravenel Bridge, leading us to Mount Pleasant. That sort of offers a lot more shopping, and it's got great access to both downtown and the beach, and it's a super versatile area. It's got, like I said, everything from waterfront communities to a ton of. Oh, are you still there? I think I
Yeah, I don't
lost
know.
you.
Yeah, you just said I heard ton of, and then I it just paused, so I'm not sure what happened.
Oh, sorry.
Where?
Yeah, it's got a ton of great community areas. There's right underneath the Ravenel Bridge, which is Charleston's famous bridge. There is a basketball court where you're constantly finding people. You've always got people walking around. A ton of good farmers markets. I was actually at one of the farmers markets last week. They hold in, which I believe it's a school parking lot, but they've got another ton of local vendors. They've got fruits, they've got seafood, the whole works. They've got live music playing. It's wonderful. And that essentially leads us over to Sullivan's Island, which is known for the beach, like I mentioned. You've got a lot of nice local restaurants. Actually, we visited Sullivan's Island over during St. Patrick's Day, and the traffic was horrible, but for a good reason, because there was such a big event and it was so much fun to see. It was essentially, I believe it was a bar crawl. I didn't end up going, but it was this bar crawl that was looked to be so much fun. They had a huge event for it, but that's one of my favorite beaches. Then kind of moving up the Mount Pleasant area a little bit, leading into Isle of Palms. That's where you'll find the Windjammer, a lot of waterfront homes, resort amenities. That's a super popular destination for tourists. And you've got just up Isle of Palms, Wild Dunes, a great golf course. Mount Pleasant has, just off the top of my head, I think 5 or 6 golf courses. So it's definitely a great area for golfers coming in and visiting. Then moving up to across yet another bridge, as Charleston has many. You've got Daniel Island, which is a great area known for its trails, parks, and waterfront. And that's similar to what I was saying. One of my favorite walking spots is the Daniel Island Waterfront Park. And you've got a few restaurants and coffee shops there, such as the Dime, where I like to stop and grab coffee and a breakfast before walking through the trail that they have. And I also like walking through at night there, passing by that Credit One Stadium because I've learned even if there's a concert that I want to go to, but I'm not able to fully make the concert or I don't necessarily want to spend the money to go to the concert, totally fine. I just grab my dog and I'm able to walk right next to the Credit One Stadium and get to listen in on some of my favorite songs.
Oh,
So
that's great.
that's such it's such a nice thing living, I think, maybe 5 minutes from a concert venue in such a walkable area. And there are so many restaurants that surround it. I actually went to Pitbull back in May at Credit One, and even afterwards, you saw people kind of coming together, going to tacos and tequila, and a ton of local restaurants around, which is very fun. Max is kind of a staple here in Daniel Island, and you've got a ton of pizza shops. You've got Buck Deli, some great sandwiches, but moving up to North Charleston, just right above the peninsula, that is a very up and coming area. You've got a lot of new restaurants and outdoor activities, and there's such a big community there. It's so wonderful to see, and with how much Park Circle has grown, that's where I mentioned Park Pizza is at. It's kind of my favorite, just picking up pizza on the weekend. That is definitely one of my favorites, and they've got a lot of great restaurants down there that have been on my to try list for quite some time now. But so then moving on to west of the peninsula, you've got West Ashley, and those are a lot of established neighborhoods. You've got easy access to downtown, and it's a very relaxed local feel with plenty of restaurants, breweries, parks. There's so much to offer. And essentially making your way more to the coast, you've got uh, James Island, and James Island is kind of what's going to connect you over to the Folly Beach area. James Island is essentially more of that laid back coastal atmosphere. And like I said, that's a short drive to downtown, it's a short drive to Folly Beach. And you've got those beautiful marsh views. There's a really good coffee shop, and of course, I'm blanking on the name now, but there's a great coffee slash surf shop down there that I love going to. I don't typically find myself over on the west side of the peninsula, but when I do, taking a stop by there, going over to Folly Beach is definitely a must for me. And then leading over to Folly Beach, that's really that surf town atmosphere. It's relaxed. You've got a ton of the coastal lifestyle, that typical uh, beach town. There are an abundance of surf shops and restaurants and just a lot of nightlife going on that you would love to see in your next beach trip to Charleston.
Hmm.
Then moving slightly west over to Johns Island, and that's more of that rural, low country feel. You've got all those beautiful large oak trees and marshes and open landscapes. It is really that area if you want to go and you still want to be close to downtown, you still want to be close to the beach, but you want more of that private lifestyle. That's where you'd essentially find that. And it's so great to see because growing up in and around these large cities, you have places that are 25, 30 minutes away, but you never really go and you never kind of consider it as part of the community. But one thing that I've noticed with Charleston is that the entire greater Charleston area is your entire community. It's you don't really look at people who maybe are on the other side of the peninsula and just say, "Oh, that's too far." I never really talk to people over there. It's you are just constantly meeting people from
Hmm.
all areas of the greater Charleston area, and it you don't even bat an eye for it.
Hmm.
Like I used to. I used to drive 30 minutes in Pittsburgh and just kind of dread the drive and never really venture out. But now here in Charleston, I'm casually driving 20, 25, 30 minutes, and it's no big deal to me because I'm just like, oh, that's just a different part of the community.
Right.
I don't mind having these beautiful views, driving over the bridges. Everything is worth the drive to me
Mm.
living in Charleston.
I like that. That might be the tagline. Everything is worth the drive. I mean, you just have, that's interesting. Like I need to go back and visit with your map or with your, description of this area, just sort of revisit what I remember, overlaid with what you're talking about. So that's really
Mhm.
cool. Um,
And it is just one of the places to be.
all right. Building on that, tell me, and you may not have been there long enough to truly answer this, but what are the events where you're like, "Oh, I can't wait for this," or "I love it when we do this," like that, like whether those are festivals or pub
Mhm.
crawls or sporting events or concerts, or what are the milestone type events that people in Charleston look forward to?
One of my personal favorites is what's known as Second Sunday Market,
Hmm.
and that actually takes place downtown on King Street. They shut down about half a mile of King Street um, every month on the second Sunday, and they just have local vendors and local shops just line up. And no matter how hot it is, how chilly it is, it's packed.
Mm.
And it's just an event that people look forward to every single month. I know it's coming on July, and let's see, what is even in the heat of July, you will find me there on the 12th. I've got it marked in my calendar every month of the year. But yeah, it's just essentially you've got local shops, you've got local restaurants that built up little stands for people to stop by and do samples.
Love it.
And it's just something that everyone looks forward to. And you also brought up concerts. We've got in Isle of Palms what's known as the Windjammer, and it is a beachfront concert venue where they do stuff like just last week there was I believe it was an 80s and 90s night.
Now,
And
hold on a second. Is Windjammer? It's a concert venue? I feel like I went to a Windjammer restaurant in Isle of Palms that was just a restaurant. Is that possible?
so it's essentially a restaurant as well as a venue.
Okay, maybe I
It's
mixed them up. Okay.
Well, I think you're thinking of the exact same one. So it is a restaurant, but it's kind of back beach access
Yeah, yeah,
is
yeah,
what
yeah.
turns into a little concert venue.
Oh, I love it. No, there was no concert when I was there. That's great. That's yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful space. Yeah.
Yeah, and they have a lot of local artists and kind of up and coming artists who they'll get to play every weekend of the summer and um, essentially just of the year who come in and you can grab drinks and have a concert on the beach. And it's just like this small, fun, intimate concert with a lot of like local artists.
Love it, love it. You'll have to remind me when if we dig into some neighborhoods, talking about like hidden gems, because that's a great little thing that I mean that might not be a hidden gem, that might be a huge thing, but like just those, I would just think about little places, little holes in the wall, little cool shops or venues that people don't know about until they do, right? And that's a great thing for you as kind of the community guide to help introduce people to. So,
Yeah, I
um,
totally agree.
yeah. So, okay. So this is great. And one of the things I hadn't thought about this for a minute, but one of the things I want to do is have you like, and I'll send this to you, but like send some pictures of pictures. I was thinking it'd be fun for people to almost treat it like a scavenger hunt where they're like, let me do a picture of me at the pineapple fountain. And that way the audio or the video the page is not just pictures of the thing, it's actually pictures of like the our connectors at the thing, if that makes sense. It's almost, it's like a kaleidoscope of pictures of people with these events. So once we kick that off, I will give you some tasks. You probably already have pictures of all these cool things, but that way you can kind of create the page in Charleston of these landmarks and whatnot, if that makes sense.